Yo, what's up, everybody? This is one of the last podcasts of 2024. We got Aris on the pod. We got another Aris pod. We got Crizzo on the pod. We never had this dude on at all at times. And Corey taking a little break from the school side out here. We got us a full house. Cam should be in. We going to hear his hot take of where he thinks this mediocre season going on for the Browns. You know what I'm saying? And I know Aris got some picks, and I think Cam got opinions on it. So, hey, we got to welcome Aris back on the show, man. How you doing, Aris?
I'm good, man. Just staying busy and, just started my marketing company and it's going really well. And yeah, everything's been good. How about y'all?
Man, doing well. We'll definitely talk about that, man. You've already had a few viral moments. We'll talk about that, man. I've been chilling. Crizzo, man, how's it over there in FL in Florida, brother?
Man, it's been good, man. And, Florida, man, chilling in the Keys, shout out to GTA, putting us on the fucking map, you feel me? Kid West finally on the fucking map. You feel me? So, I mean, shit, I might even see my fucking house in the fucking video game, bro. Shit, who knows, man? I might pull it to my own crib, make myself a fucking sandwich or something.
Hey, by that time, man, we might have to go on the live stream and just, you know what I'm saying? We're going to be at Crizzo's spot, man, freaking playing GTA, picking out the areas like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Good shit, man.
Yeah, that shit's going to be lit. I'm like, all right, so this is what they got wrong. Okay, this right here is pretty accurate, you know what I'm saying? Then would be like, you know what I'm saying? Just like showing everything. It's going to be pretty lit.
And we're going to tap in with Crizzo as well. And then in Columbus, OH, you know.
Oh, yo. Hey,
you know what I'm saying?
You kind of taught me like a freshman, dude.
I'm sorry, I had to do it, Tito. But hey, Corey, what's going on in Columbus over there, brother?
Well, I'm just finishing up my first semester from taking 2 years off of school. And that's been going fine. It's just been school and coaching for the most part. Just making sure I'm keeping up on the grind in terms of school and getting that bread and also getting the skills and experience that, I want to carry on till after that. But yeah, man, nothing too crazy exciting has been going on. It's just been hunkering down and making sure I got everything going on. Thanksgiving was great. Got to see the fam and all that. We had that nice little underground party that we went to. That was lit. Got to see some good people there. But other than that, man, I'm just chilling. I'm tired as fuck because I just turned in like 5 assignments right before midnight. So,
hey, bro, you got to grind it out, bro. You got to grind it out, man. Good work, bro. Yeah. Hey, shout out to the underground party, man. I ain't going to tell y'all what the password was, but it was pretty lit. Hey, man, I had to start a dance circle on that boy. That's all I was saying, man. Gotta bring the energy. So yeah, man. Shout out to
put the video up in the edit.
Yeah.
Dance circle.
Man, you always got to, man. Hey, sometimes I bring the shades, right? And I go, wherever I'm at. If I'm at the club, I bring the shades. They're like, what is this nigga on? And then, but I bring people around and like, yo, man, let's come on. You got to start socializing. We not like in middle school. We ain't sitting up on the wall, Go dance, you know what I'm saying? Say what's up.
Yeah, shout out to Lunar Underground, man. She was lit.
I remember back at JU, I only knew X in like the rowing team, and X invited me to like a dorm or like in a apartment party. I was like, oh, I don't know. I only know you. I don't really know too many people. He's like, man, just come, bro. Just show up, man. Just show up. So I pull up. I'm like, man, all right, man. I'm knocking. I'm like, all right, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm over here like this, like, you know what I'm saying? She come, you know what I'm saying? Xavier come over the door, man. I'm like, man, I'm texting, I'm outside, man. But Xavier opened the door, drunk as fuck with the shades on, crooked too. It's like, oh, what's up, Grizzle? He opened the door, man. He's like, yo, everybody, bro, this is my fucking dog right here, Grizzle, man. I'm like, oh, what's up, everybody? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still sober, man. Half the people already lit, and they're like, oh, what's up, man? I'm like, oh, shit, all right, you know what I'm saying? This pretty chill, I get myself a drink, sit down, see some people playing pool over there, see a female next to me. Not gonna go into details, but you know what I'm saying. It was a good time. You know what I mean? Exhibit, I had a lot of fun.
you got to just make sure your friends are like, you know, family. You treat them like, you know, like they family. And yeah, man, hey, it don't matter if you don't know them. They know me. I know you. I trust you, right? Like that's how it goes. So yeah, man. Hey, without a doubt, man. And this dude Corey is a goofy dude. So hey, we could go into stories left and right on that end, though. But, man,
you just came out of nowhere.
hey, I had to do the shot, man. I had to, man. But y'all know, like, yo, man, Aris, man, what have been some highlights for you, like, you know, this year overall, and then like, yeah, what have you learned this year, like stuff like that?
Whoa. Honestly, you know, some highlights have just been like, I said being present. I know it's not really a highlight, but being present and, you know, not trying to do too much too fast and understanding that like things come, you know, when you're consistent and you're disciplined and, you know, I manifest things and you can't go wrong, you know. So I feel like with that being said, like some highlights have definitely been, you know, some people I've been working with, some people I'm about to start working with, in terms of, you know, brand deals, marketing, podcast stuff, like all of that side. I've also been having a lot of fun, you know, going to some different events, you know, watching the Browns play, you know, F1, the Grandmaster, so like things of that nature, you know, like everything's been pretty good, you know.
Yeah, so what were your thoughts on the F1 and that was in Las Vegas, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, what were your thoughts on that? And like, have you ever been into F1 or like, was this your first like experience with it? Like, and what was it like in the States? Because I've heard like, because they had one in Austin and I guess they have one in Las Vegas as well. But like, I've heard that like F1 doesn't normally come, or they come to America every once in a while. Like I know they went to Miami as well. But like, what is that experience like for you? And what were you doing there?
So honestly, I just was like thinking it's gonna be like NASCAR, to be very honest with you. I've been to NASCAR when I was in Jersey and it was really boring. So I was just like, okay, you know, like I didn't have high expectations for it, but when I went there, it was a whole different beast. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was genuinely like, wow, like I understand, you know, why people really want to go to this, you know. It was overall really fun, you know, and it was a lot different than I thought it would be. You know, I was just like, okay, they're going to go run the laps, da-da-da-da. But they came around like every like minute 30, minute 40. So it was quick. It was really quick. And I mean, Vegas looked beautiful with the track there. Like it looked beautiful. You know, you had the Sphere in the background. You had, you know, the track's in the city, you know. So it's not like it's somewhere 30 minutes out, an hour outside of Las Vegas, you know, like it's right in the city. So I was there.
Definitely gave like video game vibes in a way.
Oh, for sure. Like, I mean, those cars going so fast that you're just like zoom, zoom, you know. But I was there for a couple reasons. So I was there with Flav, and then I went to a boxing match on that Thursday or Friday. I think it was Thursday to watch Shakur fight. I don't forgot the other guy's name. But that was a low-key a boring fight. I'm not gonna lie. I was probably the most boring fight I've ever seen. But overall, like Vegas was lit. Like I used to like not like Vegas, but that weekend, you know, because I was there from Thursday to Sunday, I would go back, you know, for sure.
Without a doubt, you know, they're about to have their first NBA game there in a few years, like decades almost, with this play-in tournament. So I'm excited to see like what's gonna happen with Las Vegas. Like they certainly, you know, get squads over there. You know what I'm saying? Like that's pretty dope.
Even with the Sphere, you know, the Sphere, like they're about to have
just amazing. Yeah,
they're about to have some UFC matches in there. They're about to have a Beyonce residency, and all of that. So it's really exciting. You know, Las Vegas has been doing a lot to really just like, you know, have changed that stigma behind it being just like a party, sex, drugs place, you know. They're trying to make it more family oriented and
more like family entertainment like that.
yeah, like where you can like bring your kids, to a boxing match, or you can bring your kids to, watch a concert or things of that,
Yeah, without a doubt, man. Yo, shout out Vegas, man. I got family in Vegas. One of my little cousins, man. Me and Cam's little cousin, actually. He not so little anymore, but he played for Cal Poly right now, but he was a Vegas hooper, man. He's 6'7", man.
Yeah.
This dude is like 2 years younger than Cameron. He like, man, shout out, man, our boy Aaron, man. We'll probably have him on a pod soon. But yeah, shout out, man. Vegas got a lot of hidden talent on all the sports levels, and man, it's a pretty cool place. In my experience, I've had a blast. I got like family members there, so I kind of see the residential area at times. So shout out to that area. Y'all got any questions?
Yeah, well, you're talking about how much you enjoyed that Vegas trip. I gotta say, like, you were saying that earlier, you visited there and it wasn't your type of visit. What's the difference between now and then?
I would say that, I would say like age definitely plays a part, because the times that I did go, I was like under 21. So there wasn't like
shit.
A few months I could do like the lake, I could go to like a show here and there. But I would just say like overall, like, I mean, there's a lot more things like people that are like under 21 can do. So it was like, if you want to go to, let's say, Summer League, you know what I'm saying? Or if you want to go to, different concerts or different, there's a lot more variety to Vegas now, I would say, where it's not just like people go there to gamble or do, certain illegal things, or illegal there, but illegal other places, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I would just say like overall, like, it's just like more like, family oriented and, a more fun experience if you don't want to just like party, do, different things like that. If you just want to just have a fun time without all the extra.
That's great, man. And so we're talking about closing out the year, talking about everything that we accomplished. You mentioned that you started up your marketing agency. Let's talk about that. What's it like starting that? Because this is your first venture in the marketing space, and let's hear about that, man.
It's been it's like you have all this energy, to really just like, I want to do this, that, and the third, but you really have to be like, yo, like, what is the strategic planning for all of this? So it's definitely been like some challenges and some like, patience with it, because you don't want to get a little bit too ahead of yourself. You have certain people, you have to know, things that are attainable, things that aren't attainable right now, so I would just say it's a big learning experience. I think that, this is definitely the time to do a lot of, marketing, because you have tons of brands that want, different people that have like influence or have, a fan base to start repping their stuff, do some campaigns, do things of that nature. And then you have the whole digital space of like, people want to watch people on podcasts or on streaming or on, different things. And it's like, how do you make it monetized so that, let's say a specific athlete or entertainer wants to, grow their fan base in another area, you know what I'm saying? So let's say like Flav, for example, he's an old school rapper, you know what I'm saying? But he got a whole bunch of Taylor Swift fans now. He got a whole bunch of fans that didn't know about him like that, because it's about being marketable and being relevant, and it goes hand in hand. So, you see a lot of old time rappers, like people don't know who they are. You got guys in the 80s, 90s even. They're like, who's that? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, even 2000 rappers nowadays too.
2000 rappers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, to be able to have that consistency and it's all goes into planning. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be able to plan and you got to be able to execute, and you got to be able to think outside the box. So like, how do you make yourself more relevant? It's good.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that because you had only your first like viral moments. I would say, man, and I saw it off of TikTok, right? And it actually wasn't just one TikTok. It was scrolling out, but with Flav at the national anthem for the Bucks game. Man, tell us about that, man. What was the thought process behind that?
So that was honestly, so he also has an agent, right? And her name, she ran it, she's super, super smart, right? And she brought the idea of like, oh, like, what about, the anthem? And I'm just like thinking like, that'd be pretty sick, you know what I'm saying? Like, that'd be pretty sick because like, who expects that? You know what I'm saying? Who would think, I'm about to go to this Bucks game and Flav's about to do the national anthem? You know what I'm saying? Like, and, he's not really like a singer like that, but he's also like a very people's person. So like everyone loves Flav. You know what I'm saying? Everyone loves, no one has anything bad to ever say about him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, when you mix that two, you can't go wrong, Like, there's going to be some people like, what the hell? What the,
And like, it got on ESPN with it, too. It was just like,
everywhere.
Yeah, it was everywhere, bro, because it was just kind of like a what in the world moment. And it wasn't like it wasn't a Fergie moment, It wasn't like, he didn't sing it poorly. He kind of sounded all right,
No, he definitely put his soul into it. He definitely put his, heart into it. But it wasn't like he was trying to do too much. You know what I'm saying? To where it was like, when people were referring to like, oh, who was better? I was looking at the comments and everyone was saying, Flav. And I'm like, damn, like, Fergie's a singer and he's a rapper from the 80s.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, damn, like, it brought her stuff up back again. But, no, like, he's just a really, like, genuinely cool and great person, So it's like, when you have someone like that, it just makes it very easy to be able to do different things, You you got some guys that their pride is too much, their pride is too high, to where they want to do certain things, or, they want to think that they're like on like a God level, to where, oh, I'm not about to do all that, or I'm not about to say what's up, just because I think I'm that guy, I'm him, I'm like, man, like, come on now.
Now, have you dealt with talent like that yet, or like, have you talked to talent like that yet, like on a business level?
Yeah, I have. I'm very like particular. There's certain people that I'm starting with now that I haven't announced publicly yet, only because like for me, it's like I really have to really like the person, and I feel like if you're gonna work with somebody, you have to actually enjoy working with that person before y'all even do work together, just the planning and things like that, So if someone's going to be, kind of like a hard ass, or they think they're too good for something, or they're consistently late, or this and that, then it's like, we're just going separate ways, Like, I generally like don't care who the person is, that I don't care how big they are, any of that. If they're hard to work with, and I'm saving myself a headache,
So yeah, what are your specific like values that you look for and try to avoid in terms of your business relationships?
I would say I generally like to have people that care about people and have more purpose in their life. So if that's being, they just like are a people's person, or not even a people's person, but they're just a good person in general, who just wants to do the right thing and is easy to work with, isn't going to give, crazy pushback on every little thing. That's mostly what I look for, I think it's important to have someone that, has like an appreciation for things, a real appreciation for things. And yeah, that's really what it comes down to be honest.
And then like, what's, I guess I'm going to piggyback off of Corey's question. Like, what values did you get from like your parents, like on this venture? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
anything that's, from like your father who, recently passed, sorry for your like condolences to you, brother. And, and your mother as well, who like, she's like, a boss in her own right as well. Like, what have you learned from them?
I think from them, the biggest thing I really learned is that like you're not too good to talk to like you're never too big to have a conversation with anybody. You know what I'm saying? With that being a homeless person, with that being some random person at the airport, you know, or, you know, maybe some staff that does the tickets at a game, you know, you're never too good to have a conversation, you know. I've seen, you know, my dad, my mom, especially my dad, like, it'd be like a little 8-year-old talking to them about football, you know, and a lot of people in this position could just be like, all right, cool kid, like, you want a picture, cool, bye. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Not even looking at him.
Yeah, like, not even looking at him, not even acknowledge him. Like, I've seen people walk past, you know, a fan or this and that. And I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, bro, like, the reason why you're as big as you are, you know, outside, you know, sports is because of your fans. You know, the fans that come buy tickets to come see you or come support you. So to me, it's like they really installed to like just treat everyone good. You know, no matter who it is, treat everyone good. Give them the respect of having a conversation. You know, it doesn't have to be a super, super long one, but just give someone the respect, you know, because you're just doing that could make their whole week. You know, you never know what people's situations are. It's never good to jump to conclusions. You know, there's been some people that, you know, they might be a little bit aggressive approach, but, you know, some people just don't know any better. You know what I'm saying? And they're just excited. They're just in the moment. They're like, oh my God, you know, like, holy, you know. But I would say for me, you know, I'm a very people's person. So like I generally like to have conversations with people I don't know, and learn about things I don't know about, you know, and kind of just be present, you know. I'm just like, okay, you're a cool person, you know, like I don't care like where you come from, you know, who you are. That's not mean anything to me. It's just, are you cool? You know, we had a cool conversation, cool, you know, like you're on Instagram, let's go on Instagram, you know, like stuff like that.
Yeah, oh yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, bro, I can attest, bro. Like knowing you for like the time I've known you, bro, definitely see those values, bro. Like, and I think that's why we vibe like that, for real. In all honesty, like just being a people's person and like just being genuine, yeah, as genuine as can be, and like, yeah, you don't owe anybody, you know, the longest conversation, but yeah, man, you can chop it up, man.
Exactly, because you know, like, well, life is too short to think, you know, that you're, you know, that you're like you're him. Like all those people that treat people like, you know, like shit, to be honest, or, you know, think that they're better than someone because, you know, better job or they're, you know, super famous, something like that. Like it's like, bro, like we got one thing promised, and that's death. So like, why are you doing all that? Just be a good person, you know, and treat everybody with respect as if you know. That's just how I think it should be. But, you know, people, especially like, you know, LA, you don't get much of that. You don't get much of that.
Yeah, I'm always surprised when like I'm with someone who just completely dismisses someone, because like I just value those little conversations so much, and it could be like the smallest thing, you know, whatever. It's like someone that at some service person, or maybe you're just walking down the street, blah blah blah, like. Just greeting someone with a smile on your face, it you feel that energy after like you guys say goodbye, and it's just like, oh well, hey, just going on, man.
Exactly.
Living life.
And like, you never know, like some of those people, like that might be a core memory for them,
right?
You know, especially with like what I think about a lot nowadays, like especially with men, you know, with, like the whole like, you know, how mental health is, you know, nowadays, you know, being there and, you know, that one conversation could completely alter that person's life, you know, just being like, hey, bro, like, or just even with like people in your own lives, you know, it's like just checking up on people, you know, showing that you like, you care, or you're going to go that extra step to be like, hey, you know, I know, you know, you've been, you know, feeling some type of way. Let's go get some food, you know, chop it up, you know, and
tap in, man. Tap in with your people, man.
Exactly. But yeah, I'd say overall, like what they really taught me was just to, you know, try to be the best person you can without being a bullshitter, and, you know, whatever you think you can do it, you know, I always got full support from them. Whatever I was doing, when I was doing parties, full support from them. When I'm doing this, full support with them, because like, it's like the way I work. You know, they understand how I work, and they understand that, like, you know, if I want to do something, I'm gonna do it. You know, so.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing I wanted to add to previously of what you was talking about is that, you know, like at the end of the day, we live, you know, in a city, in a state, in a country, you know, on a planet, right? Like we're all interconnected, right? You know, the server who is giving you the food, you know, the person who is giving you the tickets to go watch the game, you know, like the celebrity. So like we're all interconnected, right? So understanding that like you're put here to serve each other is, I feel like, a really big component of just being like a well-rounded human being, because you put other people's feelings into perspective too, right? Like you're not so self-centered and like the center of the universe, you know what I'm saying? So like when you do get big, you know, like a lot of the times your ego is inflated because a lot of people is looking up to you. A lot of women want to get with you. You know, a lot of people want to climb the ladder because of you, right? And when that happens, if that person is not like well developed as far as like consciousness goes and like empathy, you know, they're going to be more self-centered than they were maybe previously, right? You know, because habits carry on, right? It's like, you don't, like, if somebody wins the lottery tomorrow, they don't change who they are, is that who they are gets amplified, right? So like if you give, like if you're a very giving person when you didn't have much, when you win a lottery or become a millionaire or whatever, you're going to create, you know, foundations, you know, charities and things like that. So money just brings out more people because it gives you more options. And, you know, you never know who you're going to run into. Like you never know who you're going to run into. That's why for me, just like you, I'm always open to anybody's conversation, right? If I'm at a restaurant and I hear, you know, like one time, like I always talk to X about this. That one time when I was in Dallas with him and we was out drinking and at this like bar / restaurant, I hear these people talking about marketing, like business and stuff like that. And I was like pricking my ears. I'm like, damn, you know, and like, you know, I had a few drinks, but like I felt like I would have still done it anyways. And I was just like, you know, I went over there like to the table. I was like, oh, like, you know, like I heard you guys talking. Like, what are you guys talking about? And then, you know, like we exchanged numbers and everything like that. So, and they were very welcoming too. Like they didn't like shut me down or whatever like that. Mm-hmm. So like you never know, like business opportunities, things like that. So like just us four right here speaking, right? That started from somebody reaching out to somebody asking a question to somebody. I don't know how me and X met, but I assume it was about something.
Yeah.
Right. So like
it was about basketball. You showed up. We was hooping.
Oh yeah. So like every situation, every interaction that you do always leads up to something in the future, right? So just being mindful of like every interaction that you do, and like you said, like you might make somebody's week, and you might make somebody's life and alter somebody's course in that life, right? So especially a little kid too, especially a little kid. So yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Aris, what other events have you been at, this year that you like is a spotlight for you? I mean, we talked about Las Vegas. How was this weekend's Browns game? I know how it ended up, but like, how was it? I heard it was Cleveland and LA for like one day at least.
So actually, like, the Browns were there, like they were in LA for like a week. So I was going to some practices.
They were there. They were there for a bit, and well, I guess we'll talk about like how was it working with the Browns, this summer as well. So we'll put all that in one.
Yeah. So they were here for a week, and I knew some of the players, and I was with the management, stuff like that. It was tough. You see like hella guys on the side injured. I was in the owner's box, so that's where a lot of the injured guys were. And I mean, it was tough. It was tough to watch because like the Browns were doing so well. When I saw that game against the Ravens when they played them the second time, I was like, oh, we're good. Like, we're straight. You know what I'm saying? And, the injuries continued, and it's hard, because like you see, like they can go so far. If they're a healthy team, they're first. You know what I'm saying? They're first in our division. But, that game was rough. I think offensively we really struggled. Defensively, we really struggled.
And that was the first time I've seen our defense struggle for real the whole year.
I would believe that we have the best defense in the NFL.
I do. I believe we do too, and that's why I'm like, when I saw the stats, I'm like, oh my gosh, it was atrocious. And I watched the tail end of the game. I'm like, bro, what is going on? What is going on?
After that Denver game, I really thought, okay, we're gonna have a bounce back. They're here for a week. They're gonna, and it wasn't like they're going outside like crazy. When they were here, they had curfew obviously, and they're pretty locked in. I did think that Flacco did an amazing job though for coming in that that early.
Shout out to man. We got a lot of old athletes, man, who stayed in the game, man. Shout out to him, bro. He really did ready up though, like for real. He ready up.
That one pick, but he played amazing to me. Like I think he came in there and really, brought some life to that team. I mean, with all the injuries, our starting QB, then our backup, but it's like I really don't know how the rest of the team's gonna go, to be very honest with you. I don't know because right now we were what 7-3 now we're 7-5. It's like
creep into that 500 again. It's like, bro, come on, y'all. We better than that. But
we are better than that. But I think that hopefully we end out doing pretty well. I know we have the Jags next week and then the Bears.
Yeah, the Bears and then the Jets. Yeah, after that. And then, how was it like? Over the summer, you were at the training facilities for a minute. What was the time like that with the Browns?
It was great. I actually had a really good time. I was working as a financial analyst and a pro scout, so I was really just like looking at contracts, going to the practice, checking out the players, seeing, just kind of the day-to-day of how everything runs. I was able to, write up some contracts for, returning guys during the second contract, things of that nature. But it was overall a really good experience. I got to learn a lot about how the organization runs from a more corporate side, with, guys getting cut. You see a guy walk in that morning, get signed, and cut by the afternoon.
Yeah.
So it's a really cutthroat, type of thing. But I mean, that's how it has to be. You got a $1 billion team. You gotta make decisions like that.
I feel that. I was about to ask, what did you learn about, like, I guess just the broader sports business, like during that, time?
I would say on the Asian side, it's very shark and bloody water. Like it is not what I expected. I give a lot of props to all the agents out there that do their thing, but it's a very, very tough industry for that because, you could have a bunch of guys, then another agent comes and takes some of them, or, your guys are getting cut, you guys are getting released, and they're, what's going on, where am I going next? It's a very stressful job. But I would say that, like, that's really anything that, is technically your business is going to be stressful because, you have a 9-to-5, you kind of have more security, but you also don't have as much flexibility to like do different things. You know what I mean? So I think that there's definitely pros and cons to both. I think if you're more creative, then it's better to do something that is in, that's in the sports industry, like, marketing or in like a marketing agent. See, the marketing agent is different than a contract agent, and a lot of people don't know that. So the contract agent, you're doing the contracts for like even guys are, that have guys you work with that are signing with teams. They might dabble in a little bit of the branding stuff. And you have a marketing agent who handles all the marketing deals, commercials, products, stuff like that.
I was gonna ask, any relation to, you doing parties and you working with brands at the time? Did that, like, was that like a building block to where we are now, like where you're gonna be like helping, brands establish relationships with, creators?
I think that it's definitely like, I think a lot of things I learned from that, from when I was doing parties, definitely transitions over. Different kinds of like, people to person, and just relationships, because, a lot of the sports industry is very relationship driven. So it's like, okay, I know this guy works with Pepsi, how do we make a deal happen? But honestly, some of it's just like cold emailing, to be very honest with you. A lot of people, like, they don't see that, like, there could be someone that's super huge, but they still cold email certain people, just because you never know. You never know until there's no until, you ask.
And do have like a number on like the return rate on these cold emails? Like,
it depends. It really depends, because it really depends. I can't really give a a percentage number, because it really varies person to person. One guy might get a lot of, leads back, another guy might not. You just want to work with people that you tend to want to work with brands that would actually want to work with, let's say that athlete or entertainer or person, because, every person has their niche. If that's being sports, if that's being, entertainment, everyone has their niche. So it's like, how does it work in both parties' favor? And when you really look and break down everything, you have to make it so both parties really win. You don't want to send out emails that only work in your favor or your client's favor, because what does the brand have to what to bring it out of it? If they're paying you money to promote something or stuff like that, they need to be able to recoup that money, or get close to recouping that money. So it's like, you try to work with them, you try to figure out different things, and yeah.
Is there a story of like your most successful deal, or your most hyped deal, or something like that? Something you're proud of?
Yeah, there's one that is a pretty big deal. I can't share it yet, but it's coming up. It's a pretty big deal with someone I already work with. It's a good deal. It's a good deal. A really good deal. And
we'll be looking forward for it then.
Yeah, and it's gonna be like, you'll see it. Like, you'll see it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll have to talk about it on the next pod then.
No.
What are your strategies in making a deal, like the procedural thing? Like how do you know where you're like, okay, I think that a lot of deals kind of fizzle out at times. How do you know when you're like, okay, I think that this deal has like some concrete like aspects to it, and I think that like, I think it could work out?
I think that well, I don't think, but the way that I kind of structure it is, what is the product, or what we're doing? So if that's being an appearance, or if that's being working with a food company or whatever it might be. It really varies. So like I'll set certain prices for certain things. So let's say just to do a story post or to do a hard post, right? I might do, it depends on the person, obviously, but let's say low end 8K, low end, I try to like build relationships with these brands as well, though. So it's like, okay, we start at this price, but we're going to hit this price after, maybe a month or two. Just to really just like build that relationship, because I don't want it to be like a one-time thing where it's like, okay, we did this once and then gone. I want it to be, we did this once, let's continue this. So it's kind of like you have to like feel things out, but also know like your client's worth. So don't get any low balls. All those low balls, no. Because then,
don't wipe them away.
Brands talk though, it's like you get a low ball, you accept it, then you got other people that are going to send you low balls because you accepted that one.
Feel you on that one. Well, let's talk about this. Like, what are you looking for in terms of like, are you willing to represent anybody? Like, would you represent what I guess what guidelines? Who would you not represent?
Well, I don't want to sound like I'll say it this way. If I'd really believe in somebody that isn't necessarily the biggest, I'll take a chance and work with you, and it might be a little bit more difficult, but if I truly believe, then I will. But for the most part, it's like most people that are already like established, that are trying to just push their brand more and find new avenues. And I know this is gonna sound kind of messed up, but like I have to like make money, if I do it.
That's what it is at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, if I genuinely don't think that it would work, then I'll have to turn it down. But if I do believe that it will work, let's do it. If the attitude's right and they seem to be a good human being,
Yeah, I feel that. So like my idea was like what about like a smaller league, like maybe an XFL or a PLL or any of these, like would you represent a smaller athlete within those like brands?
PLL, probably not, to be honest. I'm just going to be very honest, probably not. I just don't see a big upside with it right now. I think that since it's still, growing, there's only like 15 to 20 guys right now that are really like, okay, like yeah. Well, it's just like a lot of people still don't know lacrosse, so it's not an easy market to just like kind of transition someone out of.
That's fact. Yeah.
Lacrosse community is pretty small, so it's like,
and that's what I mean. Like those niche, like XFL. Like, what did you do on that? Not dogging. I'm just saying, like, where could you pivot that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think that if you have an XFL player that has very good relationships with NFL players, you can definitely pivot that into like, let's say, let's say he's a receiver, like
you get him like a practice or squad or something like that, or is that what you're saying?
Like, okay, maybe we can, get you on a squad, see how that goes, or let's get you in to start streaming with different guys in the NFL. Build your name up, so that, okay, you're an XFL, but people know you.
You got brand recognition, name recognition. So I feel that
you can make some money off of your streaming or whatever it might be. You have get on some podcasts. Let's say even if it's with NBA players. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like we could probably build the name up and then go from there. But it's like, who knows many XFL guys? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Any issues working with like, I guess like with NIL, like, are you allowed to work with like college students?
Um, it's tricky. It's definitely tricky. I think that, sometimes I feel like you can, but there's like some rules in place that make it a little bit like, because some schools have it to where they're doing the whole NIL thing. So everything is ran by, them. So if anyone wants to work with them, they gotta email, let's say, I don't want to say the name, but let's say a certain group that works at like USC.
University. Yeah.
Like let's say this T group.
Yeah.
Email them and they gotta like, okay, yeah, let's do it. And they're taking like 20%.
They're taxing.
Obviously sometimes the school gets a part of that, so it's like doesn't necessarily work on the athlete's favor. But
Yeah, I guess where I'm like leading with all that is like, will you have like are you looking for like this like Air moment, right? Like that movie that came out earlier this year, Air, where they like pitched Jordan, right? The Nike, right? Like they pitched him. Are you gonna like try to like scope out a diamond in the rough and like try to make that a hit? Like, is that a goal of yours, or you kind of want to just stick with the established, what's established will and like help, pivot establish?
I do want to do that, but that's also like the tricky part about that is that you really never know. So they might be tough in high school, dog shit in college, might be dog shit in college, tough in the league. You know what I'm saying? Well, not like dog shit in college, but like they might be like very, very, very average.
Right.
I
mean, like think about Brady. You would probably, if you don't know, you probably would have been like, yeah, probably nah, not really.
Leave for a couple of years and then you fizzle out. But those are very hard to find. I think maybe in the next 4 or 5 years, I might try to get more into that. Maybe 3.
So yeah, just like be established at first, and then you could make those risky, plays. But yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I was just like, I feel like you got a great eye. Like you're scout of like good talent. You know what you like on the football, like in sports and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? People. Like I'm saying, you might be able to pick someone out. You know what I'm saying? You never know.
Definitely. And it's like you really never know because things turn around so quickly. Things, I started working with this one guy, Javaj, who's in Canada, and he's an MMA guy, dopest dude in the world, super cool. I got referred to him, and I watched some of his practice and some of his stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, because I genuinely believe, like, in less than a year, it'll be in the UFC. And I'm putting that out right now.
That's pretty dope. Hey, we gonna lock that in December 2023. You heard it. You heard it here. Aris, man, tell us, where'd you get the name for your agency, man?
So I actually was like, what do I name this? Because like I want it to be something that like people will remember, but I don't want it to be something that's too like that is just a generic like I don't know, brown group. Like that's boring. You know what I'm saying? That's like there might be 30 other ones like that. So I was like, vision. I kept having vision. I was like, vision, something like vision. And then I was like, what about Visionaries without, with my name instead of Aries? And I was like, you know what I'm saying? That one could stick, you know what I'm saying?
That's tough.
And
That's tough.
I was like, okay, like, let me see how this looks like, and then, I think I was, thinking about 4 different ones for like I think over a month. And I was like, this one, we're doing it, So then I was like, all right, they got the whole LLC and did that whole thing. And I was like, we're locked in,
Sweet, very sweet. Yeah, man. So, man, you talked about the homie, the ones that who have you announced publicly that you could talk about, like that you represent, like on the pod today?
So publicly, I've only announced Flav. I just announced Shaka today, and I've announced Shavat. So those are the 3 I've announced publicly. But there's around 6 more that aren't publicly out yet. So, and those are been pretty exciting for some of those.
Very dope. Rizzo, you got?
I was gonna say, man, I can't wait to see it, man. I'm gonna be, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be watching. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be watching. So you making some big moves, man. So I mean, I'm definitely impressed and like I'm proud. So you know what I'm saying? So like keep going at it, man. Cause like that name, man, that's a perfect name, man.
Yeah.
Visionaris, it's like visionary, but not like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not visionary, you feel me? But it's like kind of like it, but within. I feel like that was a great idea.
I was really just like thinking like longevity, like, okay, what can I do that can have some longevity to it? Because at the end of the day, like, I want this to be something that's like, till when I die, you know, I'm going to have this, you know? So I was like, I needed to be something that's like creative, you know? If I have a creative agency, I need a creative ass name, you know? So it's kind of how.
So, Aris, I got a question for you. Now that you're in the thick of it, I just want to ask, like, how has your college career helped you now? Because we're in a situation now, as the years go on, like more and more students are saying they don't need college, and we have people getting great jobs out of college. And this, I want to hear what you have to say about your experience.
I would say that it's one thing to say, I don't need college and have a plan. It's another thing to say, I don't need college and not have a plan. I think if you don't have a plan, stay your ass in college, because you need to understand that 98% of people, you know, I would say, let's say 90% of people, 90% of people that go to college get a job. You know what I'm saying? The goal is to be able to get a job and, you know, support yourself, support your family. You know, that's the way of life, you know. I think that if you genuinely think that college isn't for you, you genuinely need to have a plan. Because if you're just going to, you know, say, oh, no, I don't need college, you know, I'll be the next Bill Gates, and you go to freaking, you know, I don't know, you go to community college or something like that, and nothing wrong with community college. You know, nothing wrong with that at all. But if you say, oh, I'll be the next Bill Gates and drop out of community college, I'm going to look at you crazy. I'm going to look at you crazy, because those guys, all those guys that are, you know, billionaires that dropped out of college was because they had a plan. They dropped out of the biggest, you know, top number.
Harvard. Yeah, they was like dropped out of Harvard and stuff. Yeah.
And so it's like, I would never say to anyone, you know, oh, you know, you should go to college or you shouldn't go to college. I would mostly just say, like, if you don't have a plan, go to college. You know,
well said, dude.
I don't even call it, like, bro, like, you can go to even like trade school. Like, I have mad respect for some people I know that go to trade school, because, you know, that's a skill that's going away, you know, and you can make a good amount of money just, you know, doing that. You know, you don't have to do the whole, you know, let's say corporate route or things like that. Like, you could do, like, being an electrician, you know, start your own business after, you know, some years, or be a plumber. Like, I feel like too many people, like, look down on those things because they think, oh, I'm better than that. Like, they'll be broke and say, oh, I'm better than that.
And also those people who say they're better than that, like, they don't know how to do it. Like, that's like an art in a way.
It is an art. It is an art. That anyone that, you know, wants to, let's say, be really just anything, like, whatever you want to be, have a plan for it. Like, have a plan for it and get after it. Like, if you want to start your own business, start your own business. It's not like, you're not guaranteed it's going to work, but you can learn so many things along the way. And if it doesn't work, then you know what I'm saying? You can still go to school. You can still do that in the third. But I think that, like, you have to understand that, like, nobody owes you anything. At the end of the day, no one owes you anything. Once you turn 18, you're a grown adult, you make your own decisions, and you gotta live with someone else, you know? So I think that, at least in this generation, like, people want the quick fix. Oh, I want to start a clothing brand. And if I don't make 100K in the next month, I'm quitting. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, like,
You're already telling yourself you're gonna quit.
yeah, like, you gotta believe things before you even, like, when I first started this, like, I was like, yo, like, how am I gonna do it? How am I gonna do this? And then my mom was just like, yo, like, just start and figure it out on the way. You know what I'm saying? You don't gotta have all the answers. You know, you can just start doing certain things, and then you can pick up on things and, you know, go from there.
Right. And if you're doing your own thing, you gotta have the mentality of, like, I'm gonna get this done or I'm gonna die trying. Like,
And
you can't
see if, like, yo, like, I might need to stay in tonight. I might not need to, you know, even be single for a couple of years. So I'm really just locked in with this. You know, it's a lot of those little sacrifices, because time adds up. You know, you're gonna be 30 by the time you know it. You know, and it's like, when you look back and, like, dang, like, how did the time go by so fast and I'm still in the same place? It's like, you didn't allow yourself to be like, oh, you know what? I want to put my everything into this, and whatever I have to sacrifice, I'm gonna sacrifice. So
I feel like that's what separates. I feel like that's what separates a lot of men in this generation, man. You know, from, like, the ages, you know, like, you can get away in, like, your early 20s, but man, 25 to 30, that's, like, the most important time of a man's life as far as, like, career wise, you know, because when you're 30, by society standards, you're supposed to have everything figured out, you know. So your 20s is that building block, you know, brick by brick, you know, like, really honing in on your craft and your skill. And another point I want to say too, like, you brought up an example of, like, electrician. My dad is an electrician. He's an entrepreneur. He's not even from America, right? He came all the way from Costa Rica. Came here, was like a dishwasher, thinking, I'm gonna be an electrician. And when I was little, I still remember, like, him studying books like this, thick, studying. He didn't go to college, but he studied. And he took the all-in test, failed like 3 times. He kept doing it, and then he passed. He got his license. He got a state license, and man, like, he became really successful, making, like, almost, like, $400K a year just off of, like, a one-man show. Got a van, got, you know, like, the logo and name it, everything. All right. So, like, if somebody like that can do it from a dishwasher to make it that much, anybody can really do it.
I'm saying, because,
like,
a lot of, like, people don't want to work now. Like, that's the craziest thing to me. Is, like, they will, you know, do all that stuff on social media, you know, make it seem like, oh, I'm him, I'm this, that, and are broke because they don't want to work. Like, they'd rather have no money and say, oh, I'm working at this store. That is the craziest thing I'll ever, like, I'll never understand that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is people's pride, man. People's pride is, like, through the roof now. It's like, bro, like, you're not going to be someone making $2 million a year at 21. That is not how things normally go. There's some people that, yes, that happens. That's less than 1%. You know, all these people thinking, oh, I'm gonna be doing this, I'm gonna do it. It's like, bro, like,
you see it on a podcast, and then it's like they all just cap, or like,
yes,
it's crazy, bro. Yes. It is crazy to see that, man.
And like the thing is too, like, one thing that I felt like really contribute to, like, this type of mentality is, like, like this type of like Andrew Tate type of figure coming in saying like, oh, college is for brokies, you know, do drop shipping, do this, and like all those are good side gigs, right? But you know, like having this mentality, like you don't need to go to college, you don't need a job, laughing at people who do have jobs and stuff like that. But it's just like, really, it's just how you frame it. You know, like you can look at a job like, man, I'm working at this job, I'm a wage slave, and like I'm trading my time for money. Like you can think like that, or you can flip it, and you can have this mentality of, man, I'm getting paid to learn.
Yeah.
Like, every day I'm coming here, I'm getting paid to learn. You know, like and like,
yo, if you want to get paid, like, you know, anyone can you know, do certain jobs, you know, that are just like no brainers. But if you really want to be an entrepreneur, you have to have a skill that's worth, you know, worth money. You know, you have to have a something that sounds like, okay, you know what, if I pay you this, I'll get this in return. You know, that's being, you know, an electrician, if that's being an agent, whether that's being I don't know, you know, whatever it might be, you know. And yeah, I don't know. I think the way my brain works is like someone that's like from 20 years ago. You know, I generally don't. I really believe that like the amount of, you know, work I put in is going to pay off more, you know. But you know, it definitely is. You know, I've had moments where I'm like, damn, like, this shit is hard, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know, up till 3, you know, consecutively, because I'm just like, got school, I got, you know, working on this, I'm working on different other things, you know, all of that. I'm like, bro, like, I don't know if I can do this, you know? But then I'm like, I wrote down.
In the long run, it's worth it. It's worth it.
But I wrote down, when I started this, I said, if I ever, I literally wrote down, I said, like, nigga, you're not giving me that. Like, I swear to God, I wrote that shit down on my phone. So every time I get through about that, like, I look at that, you know?
I feel that, bro.
Yeah.
I feel that. Hey, Aris, man, I'm so grateful that you're on the pod. We'll have you on the pod next, I guess in the next few months, or probably next month, or even next week, whatever. We'll figure it out, though. But, man, Aris, man, tell the people where they can find you, man. Tell the people, or also what goals, what short-term goals do you have before 2024 is over with, man?
Agreement.
So
2023, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, probably, you know, what I really want is just to build my roster out more of people I'm working with, and, you know, really start their avenues, whether that's being in, you know, raising their brand awareness, or getting them more deals, or starting them on a pod, or on streaming, just things of that nature. And just to, you know, I just want everyone to, my goal is really just like make sure everyone's good, you know, make sure all the people I really care about are good, you know. One of the biggest goals I have, because life can change like this, you know, and you never know what might happen. So it's like just being there, and you know, everyone's doing their own thing, everyone's doing their own grind, but, you know, take some time to just call one of your homies up, or you know, go out, or, you know, stuff like that. So,
Man, really appreciate your time, brother.
thank you all, man. This was great.
Happy to get you back, man.
Oh yeah,
yes, sir.
we'll get some people on here too, you know.
Of course.
You know,
That'll be sauce. That'll be sauce. Without a doubt. We really appreciate it, man. Yo, Chriso, man, close us out, brother. Man, we haven't seen you in a long time, man. Give the people the final thought, man, all that shit, you know?
Man, final thoughts, man. Just want to say, bro, to everybody out there watching this, man, just keep doing what you're doing, man. If this inspired you, great. You know, if this motivates you, keep going. You know, everybody you see is either going through something or trying to, you know, make something out of themselves, man. You know, so just keep on pushing, man. There's always the light at the end of the tunnel. You know, always have that vision, man. You know, the Visionaris. You feel me? That's why you got that name. You feel me? You gotta have that vision, bro. You feel me? So just stay at it.
Hey, man, you can follow Aris on Instagram. You can follow Visionaris on Instagram as well. You can follow us at What's Out Media. Hey, peace out, everybody, man. It's on with y'all.